And welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us. Lisa Wilsey is our guest, Executive Director, Stanley Theater. Stanley Theater Stage is where we are, and we're taking a look at the Stanley, thanks to Lisa. And we're getting a tour of the Stanley today, so you can see some of the behind-the-scene things. Up on this stage, Lisa, I'm looking over to my left, and I'm seeing a lot of ropes. I'm seeing a lot of pulleys, a lot of switches.
Lines,
yeah. What's that all about?
Well, with those are for props. So the more you have, the different productions that can come in, and so they're an asset when we are acquiring talent and programming, but also for those renting the facility, these are assets for them to tell someone, hey, we've got X amount of lines, they're gonna help your show. Now we can bring in different productions that these can sustain, and you can see we've got quite a few. We need more. Down the road, we'll keep getting more. And that's a good asset for the theatrical piece, the back of house piece. And with that, we're also going to be upgrading our dimmer system and our CPU units, remote controllers, and all that's for lighting. So we're just making sure everything is maintenanced, it's in ready form, and these are things that just haven't been done for a long time that we want to make sure that we don't get into a hiccup. So we're ready, you know.
Is the Orchestra Pit, which is behind us,
Yes.
does that still come up and down?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
And the floor that we're on here, are there any spots on this floor where you can go down, you know, where if they're bringing up props or things like that, or is this a solid stage?
I think this is solid. I would have to. I don't think I've never seen a trap door used. I don't think so. Because under here would be dressing rooms, and you have the orchestra over there, and a hallway is down
And talk about the dressing rooms. There was an act in here years ago. I forget who it was. I wish I could remember. And I like the story so much that I hope it's true. She went to the dressing room and said, no, I think I'll go use the one out in the van. I'm not going to go in there. It was the condition was so bad. But those were all upgraded, weren't they?
Yeah,
when you
you'll
did
see when you go on the tour, everything is really up to par. It's contemporary, it's clean, it's well maintained, and you'll just see the layout is very nice too.
Last I talked to Jerry Krause, or maybe it was the second to last time I talked to him, we talked about the roof. What shape? That's a big roof up there.
Well, it's not just one roof, it's many roofs. So we're actually, one of our capital projects we're probably going to work on next year is the south corner, which is probably the last patch of roof, I guess you'd call it, a section of roof that really needs to be upgraded, changed out, and so forth. But, and then after that, with our maintenance calendar that we haven't had before, we're going to know seasonally and monthly what to check throughout the year. So there won't be a hiccup in forgetting about to check something, or check the roof over the marquee, for example, or maybe the marquee facade needs a check every year or so because the glaze can pop off in cold weather. It's not scary because it's just like a surface, like it's a glaze, but you still want to watch it and patch it and put it back in place. So what we're trying to do is just keep our eyes really close on the theater itself.
Any, I guess that you call them tech shows, right? People that would, Broadway shows that would come in here and try out, so to speak, kind of more than a rehearsal, but not on their full-fledged tour. Any of those in the future?
Oh, I'm sure. I think it's become, you know, commonplace that, you know, every year there's one or maybe two or three. I think this last year we had one. I'm not quite sure. Or maybe it's this coming year there's only one. You'll have to talk to BTL about it. But that's more their business.
Good. When Derek comes on, I'll ask him about that. What's high on your agenda right now, on your list of things to do? What are you hoping to get done right quick?
My sooner than later project will be emergency lighting, upgrading it to LED, making sure we have enough of it. Also, there'll be some training for volunteers when we have that in place with an evacuation plan, as well as doing an active shooter class. So everyone has got emergency preparedness in order before the season starts, really officially in September. So we'll get that.
I'm glad you mentioned volunteers. In the past, you said that you're looking for volunteers?
Always looking for people to come and enjoy the building. Really, I mean, you get to not only see a show, but you also get to help keep the theater in business, and you also become our storytellers to our guests. And that's important because since we brought on our security company, Westcott, it's really freed them up to enjoy our patrons and be that storytelling piece of our business.
What about the training? These volunteers just can't show up and say, I want to volunteer. They have to
There's
do
a
some
training,
right?
and there's also a harassment class now that is required of them. So, but also with that, now we're going to have the emergency exit policy. You're going to have to know it, and also what to do in case we do have if there's an active shooter across the street. What do we do in here? What do we do if there's one in here? It's very important, unfortunately, in this day and age. And I just, as I mentioned in my press conference, whatever our staff and I can do to avoid a should've and a could've, we're gonna do it.
Yeah. What about I'm looking out at the seats. What is those seats have been, the upholstery has been there as long as I can remember. What kind of shape do you think
I
they're
think
in?
they're in pretty good shape. I think so. I think once in a while, you know, because of their age, there's something that needs to be repaired. But for the most part, I think they're great. I mean, if it were up to me, maybe they'd be a little bigger. But you know, that's just a sign of the times.
Yeah, that's the way they were back then,
Yeah.
huh? I guess
Yeah.
people were smaller. The future of the Stanley, you make it sound pretty bright.
It is. It's on a forward trajectory. It really is. I'm really excited because we have a staff that's really put their heart and soul behind the building, as well as the volunteers. But also, it's just trying to find that sweet spot of how to make the right money on a show, where it's like, okay, we have the formula now. We know what it's going to take to market it. We know what it has to be priced at. We know what the affordability for us. So, in knowing that, it's like a relief. Like, okay, we know what we need and what we can do to make the money to pay the bills for the things that the building requires, and it's exciting. So we have gotten a lot of attention now from corporations that want to come and get involved now to say, hey, I want to get involved in programming. I want to invest in your programming. So programming now is something that's going to involve corporate, involvement, and they want to support that. That's the fun part.
Everybody likes a winner. I learned that a long time ago. The website people can go to real quick?
thestanley.org.
Okay, good to see you. Thank you.
you.
Okay, that's going to do it for us this week. We'll be back next week. We'll do it all again. Don't forget, speaking of websites, cnyhomepage.com. Lots of good stuff there. Until next time, everybody, take care of yourself.